What's up, PPW Nation? It's that time. We're getting close. Saturday is Ring of Roses, and you know, each and every month, the three best are here to tell you everything you need to know to go into the event. Big Sean Kramer is here with Coach Juliana and Tom Mitchell. What's up, boys?
Well, it's good to be back here, Big Sean, as PPW's foremost prognosticator. And I will tell you this right now, we have an absolute whopper of a card coming at you here, ladies and gentlemen, that will be going down here this weekend, March 11th, that is, March 11th at the Signature Trading Academy in Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, every single month these shows continue to get better. The PPW Nation gets louder and louder, and I'll tell you what, a trend we've seen lately, every single month we see more and more streamers invading the Signature Training Academy, and that makes for just a great, fun environment. And we haven't even talked about the athletes that are coming to the Signature Training Academy yet. The environment alone is enough for you to get out there and purchase a ticket. And remember, the only way to experience all the fun is to be there in person. That's at ppwwrestling.com/shop, where very limited tickets remain. So, guys, we got a lot to talk about when it comes to Ring of Roses, but it's usually Tom Mitchell that's got the breaking news around these parts. But tonight, I'm that guy. I have the breaking news. Yeah.
That's usually my job. Wait a second. What news do you have to break that I don't know about?
Well, I've got word from the great folks at Fight TV that we have a date for Reborn. You saw the highlights just before we came on the air. Now, just so you know, next Friday, March 18th, all you have to do is head to fight.tv. $9.99 is the price. You can relive Reborn, where we saw the PPW debut of Killer Kross.
Not only a PPW debut, but an incredible match between Killer Kross and Davey Richards. Who won that match? Well, I guess you'll just have to buy the Fight TV pay-per-view and find out for yourself. But all I can tell you is it was an absolute banger that you don't want to miss.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It was a night never will be forgotten at the Signature Training Academy. We saw some crazy stuff, and we're not even going to tell you much about it because you saw the highlights, and we want you to order that show. See some of the best wrestling you'll find nationwide, not just in Pennsylvania. Next Friday, 8 p.m. on Fight TV, PPW Reborn debuts. But enough about that for right now, boys. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. Ring of Roses is coming up Saturday. How excited are the two of you for this madness that we are in for?
Well, like I said at the top of the show, Sean, it is a whopper of a card. We have some of the, again, like you said, some of the best talent in all of professional wrestling coming to the Signature Training Academy in front of the best fans in all of professional wrestling. And again, the talent and the quality of talent and the level of matches just continues to level up every single month. Once again, folks, if you're looking for some of the best and most elite championship level professional wrestling that there is to be offered, you have to come to the Signature Training Academy. It does not get any better than this. We have great matches from the both, not only on the men's side, but on the women's side as well. Emerging stars that you will see on AEW Rampage, AEW Dark, as well as on the WWE. Some great matches. Now let's go back to that Reborn event. One of my personal favorites, the guy I was very excited to see, was GCW's Jordan Oliver, an amazing young up-and-coming athlete. Had a chance to go one-on-one in that event, and the guy, so just another reason why you should order that pay-per-view. But on to the task at hand, which is Ring of Roses, and some massive business to get to, Tom Mitchell. So we get back to business.
Tom Mitchell,
I'll bet.
Get us started. Let the fans know what the first marquee matchup we're going to talk about tonight is coming up at PPW Ring of Roses.
Oh, well, the marquee match, well, that's the PPW Heavyweight Championship match. We're talking Bro Keller versus Davey Richards. Guys, this is a match that Davey Richards has been building towards ever since PPW came back. The MLW, former Impact star. This man's been everywhere in the world, but one thing he has not done is held the PPW Heavyweight Championship. I know Bro is more focused than I've ever seen him, and Davey Richards is at the physical peak of his career. This is just going to be a classic.
Yeah, a classic is a good way to put it. And, you know, this is Bro Keller's been through some hell during this PPW Championship reign. He's faced multi-man matches, hardly any idea who his opponent's going to be leading in. Very unpredictable has been the schedule of All Energy Bro Keller, in addition to the stuff he's put up with outside of the wrestling ring as far as health-related. Tell you what, this championship reign is one that has accelerated, and I'll tell you what, for Bro Keller, has been extremely impressive. We've seen this man overcome everything PPW management has thrown his way, while at the same time developing a massive following within the PPW Nation that seems to grow every single month. I can't say enough about our champion and how proud everybody should be of him.
Learn about it, Big Sean. And I think one thing about Bro Keller, I know I've said it. If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. This is a guy who, when his best is required of him, he has been at his absolute best. We talk about Davey Richards. Davey Richards is a guy coming from the MMA background. Recently got a chance to go speak with him at his feet in his fight camp right now, preparing for the Bro Keller match. Got a chance to go see him work out, and he is in peak physical condition right now. At that point where he is peaking, incorporating some of the Brazilian jiu-jitsu into his arsenal. Of course, you saw in his match last month against Killer Cross more of a striking attack, but I think what Davey Richards is going to bring is a more of an amateur wrestling, again, mixed with that Brazilian jiu-jitsu that he has been incorporating throughout his fight camp. Is going to really present a complex challenge for Bro Keller, who tends to err on the side of athleticism when he's gone up against guys who he tends to be more athletic against. Davey Richards is unlike any performer, any competitor that Bro Keller has seen from an experience and a overall athleticism and amateur wrestling background. It'll be very interesting to see what Bro Keller's game plan is, given what we know about.
Yeah, it's going to be very curious to watch for sure. I'll tell you what, the thing about Davey Richards and the point that Tom Mitchell made earlier and the point that you brought up as well, Coach, you guys are right. This dude is in peak physical condition, the best he's ever looked in his entire professional wrestling career. Davey Richards is another guy that's also been on a major role. He's tearing up the world of independent wrestling the top guys in this business across the country. This man is working harder than most people in the world of professional wrestling right now with a knee replacement. And I'll tell you what, for Bro Keller, he's going to have to be really careful because a guy that can accomplish that sort of stuff with the stuff that Davey Richards has been through is a guy that is going to be very tough competition and somebody that Bro is going to have to bring his A+ game to handle in that squared circle. Tom Mitchell, what do you feel like about this contest?
Well, I feel like just looking at Bro Keller, Coach, you talked about a little bit just how he relies so much on his athleticism, his quickness. I've seen video of Bro Keller recently working a lot on his mat game. He knows that Davey Richards can tie you up in a blink of an eye, and he wants to be prepared for that and have a counter for that. So we'll see how his training comes about, but I expect this to be a lot more technical, a lot more hard-hitting than Bro Keller has had to do so far in his championship reign, and we'll see if he's ready for that kind of matchup.
Yeah, it's going to be 100% a test of Bro Keller's technical abilities. Bro does have those abilities. He doesn't typically have to rely on them, though, because that speed game is so top-notch. But in a contest against Davey Richards, you're going to have to rely on that 100%. And, I think the training Bro Keller's underwent and, also the success he's had in his PPW career set him up in a really nice spot to be on the ball and ready for this challenge that Davey Richards presents. And I like to usually put people on the hot seat early in the show, but you know what? I'm taking the fall tonight. I'm going first. Bro Keller's, man, he's doing it, and I don't think the Bro show is ready to end. My money is on Bro Keller in this contest. I think Bro Keller is going to surprise a lot of people and pick up what I think is probably, at this point, could be the biggest win of his entire career.
Well, look, I there's no bigger fan of Bro Keller than myself. I've had a chance to, I was there when he made his debut in PPW. I've been there for some of the biggest moments of his PPW career. But at the end of the day, toughness and experience is what wins in professional wrestling. And I think when you look at the toughness and experience matchup here in this match, I think that edge goes to Davey Richards. And again, that's not just take anything away from Bro Keller. Bro Keller is truly is one of the great competitors in professional wrestling today. I just think Davey Richards is a guy who has a level of toughness that is just not really seen. I don't think Bro Keller has really ever seen before in his career. And also, too, Davey Richards is coming off of a huge match against a big time competitor in Killer Cross. So I really have my serious doubts on if Bro Keller can truly go the distance with a guy who's as tough and as experienced coming off of a huge match like Davey Richards.
Yeah. To that point, guys, I got a quick question to ask. If Bro Keller is able to win this Saturday night, this Ignition Training Academy, will he be amongst the best PPW heavyweight champions of all time? He's being a who's who of people already, and Davey Richards might just be the biggest name of them all if he's able to knock him off.
If Bro Keller is able to beat Davey Richards, he would be PPW's Wayne Gretzky. I mean, there's just no doubt about that. He would cement himself as the greatest champion in the history of the company. There's just no doubt about it. I mean, you're talking about the biggest victory in the history of the company, bar none. He would be PPW's Wayne Gretzky if that were to happen.
Wow, that's a huge show of respect there from you, Coach. Speaking very highly of one Bro Keller, but this a victory in this situation will definitely go a great length into cementing Keller's status as one of the greatest PPW champions we've ever had. I don't know if that win puts him at that top billing yet. I mean, look at the history. It's such a broad and it's such a beautiful history here at PPW that's a big mountain to climb to the top of. But I'll tell you what, Bro Keller is in that list. I mean, even if he doesn't come out on top here, he's probably in the top 5 right now. It's been a very memorable reign, and like I mentioned earlier, there were so many factors in that championship reign that he had to overcome that just show the resiliency of him, and that's exactly what the PPW Nation gets behind. That blue collar, work hard, overcome anything they have to attitude that they get out of Bro Keller. Man, all I got to say is the tensions and the emotions in the Signature Training Academy for that one will be off the chain. These guys both are heavy fan favorites in the PPW Nation, but man, the only way to find out what you're going to see in this contest is seriously to be in the building. It's impossible to predict right here with the role Richards has been on and also with the role Keller's been on. I put my bet down, but this could really go either way and change on the flip of a coin. So it's the parity in this contest is going to be absolutely insane. So your best bet as a fan undoubtedly is going to be to head over to ppwwrestling.com/shop right now. Pick up some trading cards on the way to grabbing your ticket to Saturday's Ring of Roses event, which is, like I said, maybe one of our best. And we hope to see every one of you there.
The only people that will lose are going to be you if you don't buy a ticket. That's the bottom line, folks. The tension in the air in the Signature Training Academy is absolutely palpable, and you can feel it, especially when there's a big money match like there's going to be, like this one will be come this Saturday.
Absolutely. This is going to be a historical night. And, well, speaking of historical, let's move on to our next match, guys. The unprecedented 7-time PPW Tag Team Champion, South Philly's Finest, will defend against Team Ruda, the team of Joey Martinez and Vinnie Mac, and Primal Fear. Guys, 3-way tag matches are always insanely chaotic, and I expect this one to be no different.
Yeah, and insane and chaotic for sure, but Primal Fear's in this contest, and that is ominous. Those guys have torn apart everybody they've come across in PPW so far. This is, in my opinion, hands down SPF's toughest challenge since they've been PPW Tag Team Champions. It's one that they're going to have to be on their A game to overcome. And we're just talking about Primal Fear. Joey Martinez, the closer Joey Martinez, finally got back on the winning track last month at Reborn. He needed that win in the worst sort of way. When you add in a fast-rising star in the ranks of PPW, such as Vinnie Mac, both under the tutelage of Mr. Ruda, this is just a really interesting scenario for SPF, and they're going to need to, maybe relive some of those street ball days or stick ball days and use some strange tactics to keep themselves where they need to be in this contest, because there's a heck of a lot going on.
Certainly going to be an interesting trilateral that will happen here in the Signature Training Academy between these three very, very good tag teams. But I think the one thing that sticks out to me is the incredible dichotomy and diversity between the experience. I mean, here on one hand, you have SPF, who's one of the most established tag teams in professional wrestling, and certainly the most established tag team and most accomplished tag team in PPW, going up against a tag team in Primal Fear, and then a team with Joey Martinez and Vinnie Mac, who are looking to really establish themselves. And I think Primal Fear is a team, as you mentioned, Big Sean, they're a team that has just continued to consistently impress. They are very consistent in their performance. That's one reason why I think they are a legitimate contender and have a possibility to knock off SPF, because of their consistency and how the intensity they are, how fluid they are, and how fundamentally sound they are in the ring, and their consistency. Again, I think that sets them apart. I just think, again, I think the other thing too is Vinnie Mac and Joey Martinez, although they show a lot of promise, very, very young, very immature. And in a big spot like this, I don't like immaturity. So that's why I'm going to ride with Primal Fear here. That's why I like them to possibly be contenders. I'm not going to go as far yet to make my predictions. That's why I like them to really make an impact and really put themselves on the map in this matchup.
Tom Mitchell, when's the last time you had a nice heaping serving of gabagool, my friend?
Geez, I want to say that might have been September or October, where I was just getting gabagool shoved down my face by one Jimmy Conway. But no, in all seriousness, a lot's changed since then, since they were shoving gabagool down my face. Like, you could just see them even backstage, just way friendlier, just more cordial with everybody. But yeah, there was once upon a time where, yeah, South Philly and I were not on the greatest of terms. They're putting me down, but those, like I said, those days are way behind us. Definitely much nicer people now, but they got to bring out that meanness against Primal Fear, a team that they're very familiar with all across the independent scene, and Team Ruda, which, speaking of Team Ruda, let's talk about Mr. Ruda and how he is the absolute wild card in this factor, guys.
Mr. Ruda is a force to be reckoned with no matter what situation he puts himself in. And you've seen that Ruda Championship make its debut last month. But I'll tell you what, talents are real wise in investing in a guy like Mr. Ruda. This guy's an advocate for his clients. This guy gets his clients marquee matchups. If you look at the situation with the closer, Joey Martinez, I talked about how it was very important for him to pick up that victory last month and how he needed to get back on the winning way. But I'll put it this way. He hasn't had much success outside of that beforehand. And him and Vinnie Mac are a very good, very fresh tag team, but they don't have a lot of wins in the tag division in PPW. You want to talk about effective management. Kudos to Mr. Ruda for getting these guys in this position and getting these guys this opportunity with the lack of a body of work that they have together. That's nothing short of incredible.
I think you're spot on. Another manager in this match, though, we got to talk about is Delilah for Primal Fear. Delilah is a very wise woman. She's coached the Punk Rock All-Stars, being former PPW Tag Team Champions, held the belts for most of 2018, and really, you can see why. She's just very smart. She knows how to pick her spots. She knows how to coach up her people. No pun intended, coach. But she knows how to coach up her people and really understand what it takes to win and what it takes to be a champion. So do not overlook Delilah in this contest either.
No, you can't overlook Delilah for sure. But I don't personally. I haven't quite figured out what all this means yet. What Delilah means for Primal Fear. What her business is with Primal Fear. It's a story that's developing. And Coach Juliana, from a coach's perspective, with that much of a wild card in Delilah, if you're in the room, you're writing on the board, you're coaching these teams on how to approach that situation. What do you tell them?
Well, as you mentioned, Tom, Delilah is someone who's no stranger to the PPW tag team scene. So again, as you mentioned, Sean, that's why the wild card factor, that's why she's just that much more lethal. Is she has a great understanding of this tag team division. She has a great understanding of how to pick her spots, how to use herself as a weapon, but also stay out of the fray and keep herself safe, which is, again, very effective. All great professional wrestling managers are able to do. And I think, again, the way you got to plan for her is just to try and not be distracted. Right, try and make sure that you take the aggression, be so aggressive and so physical from the outset of the match that you're able to just isolate her to where she is no longer a factor, take her out of the match and get the crowd into the match. I think if they're able to do that, if they're able to do that, I think that's how you neutralize her. That would be my instructions. Those would be my coaching points at the end of the day. Neutralize her with physicality, get the crowd involved through that physicality, and then over the course of the match, she'll have to resort to more extreme means, and then that's when she starts cross the line, and that's when the official starts getting involved, and then we can trigger some type of disqualification situation.
That sounds like the annexation of Puerto Rico right there.
You got to listen, man. Coaching is all about thinking 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 steps ahead of your opponent. This isn't, people think this is just, WWE 2K14. No, it's about thinking. It's about a strategy. You got to be flexible in your thinking to shift off the strategy you have.
For sure. But it's time. You're going to have to take off that coaching hat for a minute and put on that sports bet hat. Who's coming home with the gold Saturday night at Ring of Roses? Coach Juliana.
If I'm putting on my sports betting hat, you always got to go. You got to go with the most experienced, and you never bet against the most dominant. And obviously, SPF is coming home with the gold. I just don't see them losing in this spot. They're just too good of a tag.
Okay, there you have it. Tom Mitchell, what about you?
You see, I really like the wildcard team of Team Ruda here. They don't have nearly as much experience together as, say, Primal Fear or as, say, South Philly's Finals. But I do think that Mr. Ruda is just that good of a manager that he can elevate. And Joey Martinez was just fighting for the PBW Heavyweight Championship not too long ago. Vinny Mac, we just saw him on SmackDown last week. So, there's just a lot of things going their way that I think that they're slept on, but they won't be for long.
Okay, yeah, no, I'd agree with Vinnie Mac being a real special young talent, and you got the closer in the mix too. That's a team to be reckoned with. But I'm just not sure that SPF's time is up yet. They've been on a great run themselves. We've seen Conway and Bratzi, get a lot of big victories, come out of a lot of situations where many thought they wouldn't be able to survive, and they've done it. They've been survivors, and Jimmy Conway, his tribulations lately and everything going on with him has been well noted. He's riding high after last month, so I just don't think their time's up yet. My money is on SPF here, and I don't think anything could convince me otherwise at this point.
Coach, Sean, speaking of riding high, let's move on to our next match with two guys riding incredible victories in their last times at PPW. We have Mike Bennett, who most recently defeated Casey Navarro in a stellar main event, and Action Andretti going 1-on-1, who just defeated Jordan Oliver, who Coach was talking about a little bit earlier. These are two guys very much at the top of their game. I'd say Bennett's at the top of his game. I'd say Andretti is well on his way, on his meteoric rise, and this is another show stealer. It just seems like we're full of them here at PPW.
Absolutely. But real quick, before we go in depth onto that concept, or onto that contest, that is, I want to remind anybody who happens to be watching the broadcast now that's working towards being a great professional wrestler themselves. We have an extremely unique opportunity before Ring of Roses kicks off. For all trained professional wrestlers, there will be a Mike Bennett seminar that's starting between 1 and 3 p.m. It's $30. Message the PPW page. You want to talk about somebody who's done an awful lot in the world of professional wrestling. Mike Bennett fits that bill. That's a wealth of knowledge for anybody who aspires to be great in this world of professional wrestling. So, we do highly encourage anybody that's interested in, growing themselves and investing in themselves to contact the PPW page and reserve your spot through Battlefield Pro Wrestling for that incredible seminar.
And I will say this, I got a chance to listen to Mike Bennett speak to some young talent. There's not a guy he knows more than a more insightful guy about this business, and most importantly, not a guy who's willing to help more than Mike Bennett. Great dude. And again, yeah, like Sean said, if you're looking to be a professional wrestler, this is something. If you're looking to really progress and develop yourself as a professional wrestler, this is something that you need to be at.
For sure. But that contest, Tom Mitchell, I didn't want to ignore you on that one. That contest could be the match of the night. Reason being, Action Andretti, I think you might have even sold him short with that glowing endorsement you gave him a few moments ago here. Man, Action Andretti, straight up, I'm going to say it straight up, put it on the record right now, Action Andretti is the future of Pennsylvania Premier Wrestling, and I'd put a lot of change on the line in a bet to where I can say that at some point I do believe Action Andretti is so good that he will one day be the PPW World Heavyweight Champion. What better way for a young man to establish his rise and establish that start of dominance in PPW than taking down a guy like Mike Bennett, a guy that's been across the world, a guy that's wrestled for every single wrestling organization that matters pretty much. Man, this would be such a feather in Action Andretti's cap, and if anybody's got the physical ability inside of that squared circle to take a guy like Mike Bennett to the limit, that's Action Andretti, no doubt about it.
You're absolutely right, Sean. And I think the bottom line is this is going to be a great litmus test for a guy like Action Andretti. How good are you? Are you really as good as you think you are? Are you as good as you say you are? Because again, like you said, Sean, Mike Bennett's a guy that's wrestled everywhere and anywhere that matters in professional wrestling. He's incredibly skilled. And again, if Action Andretti is as good as we think he is, he'll perform very well in this match. I think definitely either or. Actually, Andretti, no matter what the loss is, he will come out of this match a better competitor because he's going to learn a couple things from Mike Bennett. But I think the one thing about Action Andretti, he really reminds me a lot of Bro Keller when he first came took the scene in PPW. Right? Took the scene by storm. You could tell from the first time he stepped into the PPW ring, he was going to be a huge star and a big-time competitor. And there's no doubt, Sean, I 1,000% back your prediction that he will one day be the PPW World Heavyweight Champion.
Absolutely. Tom Mitchell, what kind of factor do you think Maria Kanellis-Bennett's going to play in this contest? She's always somebody to watch at ringside. Definitely happy to have her coming back to PPW. But what kind of effect is she going to have on this contest, and what should Action Andretti be watching for?
Well, it's quite clear that Maria loves her husband, Mike Bennett, and she will do whatever it takes to make sure that her husband is taken care of and is make sure that her husband is victorious come Saturday night, come any night that Bennett is wrestling. I really do believe that Maria is such a critical factor in Mike's success, not just in PPW, but all across the nation. She is one of the greatest managers out there right now, just based off that fact that she has been everywhere. She's seen everything. She knows every little nuance. She recognizes when the opponent gets tired. She recognizes just all these little things that turn to big things that are not taken care of right away. Maria's going to be huge in this match if Andretti is caught slipping even once.
Okay, yeah. I think Andretti's going to have to keep eyes in the back of his head, too, because with a lot of love for your husband comes a willingness to do whatever you must do to make sure that he wins. And, you know, they may be very friendly with the PPW Nation, but if I know Maria Kanellis-Bennett like I know Maria Kanellis-Bennett, she is not above grabbing Action's foot while he runs by or, you know, hopping up on the apron for a bit of a distraction. So Andretti's going to have to be ready for that for sure.
Absolutely, no doubt. I think he's got to be ready for everything and anything. Because, like you said, Sean, you know, Maria Kanellis-Bennett has shown that she is not afraid to pull out all of these stops if it means protecting her husband and getting a win.
For sure. Tom Mitchell,
it's prediction time.
Oh yes, it's prediction time.
All right.
And you're
I was
the one.
ready.
And
See,
you're
I
the
beat you
one
to the gun
we
there.
want. You're the one we want first.
All right. Well, we talk about Maria. We talk about Mike, his years of experience. We talk about how Action is the future. I think Mike's the present. I think Mike wins this match. It's going to be a great match, but I think Andretti's time's coming. I just don't know if it's quite yet against a 20-year vet who's been all across the globe in every promotion that matters, basically.
Okay, Coach Juliana, what's your take on this contest?
I think actually Andretti gets a massive win and an upset and really puts himself on the map. I think he puts up I think Mike Bennett obviously puts up a great fight that we think he will, but I think actually Andretti is able to get one.
Okay, wow, that's a bold prediction, and I think it's the bold prediction that I'm going to go with too. Actually, Andretti's time is now. We're not waiting. His time is now, and I can't say it enough. You watch, folks. Bold prediction right now. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Action Andretti's not around the independent scene much past 2022. You know, this kid is that good. He's turned everywhere he goes. All it takes is one contest for that promotion and their fans to be hooked. So this is the time. Now is the time. Saturday night at Ring of Roses is where Action Andretti shocks the world, shocks Mike Bennett, and shocks Maria Kanellis-Bennett, along with the PPW Nation. That's it. You can set it in stone. In fact, I give it one a show. This, ladies and gentlemen, is my stone cold lock of the evening. You can lock it down.
Wow.
Wowzer.
What? A lock? I can see you taking Andretti maybe, but a lock that he's going to beat Mike Bennett, that blows my mind.
Not just a lock, a stone cold lock. That's as locked as you can get.
I'm at a loss for words.
And that's what I was hoping to do with that prediction because I feel that strongly about Action Andretti. And, folks, like I said, I don't see this man being on the independent scene much past 2022 with how good he is. So what you should do, the best thing you could do is take the opportunity you can to see him while you can. And the best way to do that is to go to ppwwrestling.com/shop, grab your tickets, and be in attendance this Saturday night at Ring of Roses. This show is going to be one for the ages. There's so much more to talk about, too, boys.
I'll say this right now, Sean, if I may.
Yeah.
If you follow Action Andretti on any type of social media, you will know he does not come up this way very often, okay? So your only opportunity to really see him in the state of Pennsylvania is to see him at PPW, right?
Absolutely.
You have to either go to Maryland or other places. So if you want to see him, you got to come see him at PPW.
Absolutely. A PPW exclusive as far as the state of Pennsylvania goes. So, yeah, only the best in PPW, no doubt about it.
Speaking of doesn't come this way more often, this is another match that we can talk about. Taya Valkyrie, hey, fresh off of just coming back to the independent scene, she's going to be challenging for the PPW Women's Championship against our champion, Danny Moe. Guys, this one should be a blast, and I'm just excited as a fan just to sit back and enjoy this one.
Yeah, man, me too. It's nice to see Taya Valkyrie coming to PPW. She's fresh off of NXT. A lot of disappointment there as far as from the fans' perspective. But Taya Valkyrie, that's for lack of a better term, lit a fire under her behind. She's not happy with the way that went either. And she wants the wrestling world to know that she still is and always has been one of the premier athletes in women's wrestling. But Danny Moe, on the other hand, Danny Moe's been doing big things herself. Her rise has been noted. We've talked about it on this preview show every single month about how much better she gets every single month she goes out there. But now that Danny Moe has won the PPW Women's Championship, Danny Moe has a ton of confidence, and it shows. Every single month, Danny Moe bursts out of that curtain like she owns the place. And quite frankly, with the way she's been wrestling and with the amount of support she's been getting from the PPW Nation, that's not that far-fetched. Danny Moe pretty much does own this place.
There's no doubt about it. And this is one of those where I go get a kielbasa sandwich and a Diet Coke, and I make sure I sit down and enjoy, because this is going to be a heck of a match. You talk about Taya Valkyrie, one of the best women's performers in all of professional wrestling, versus Danny Moe, who has absolutely cemented herself as an up-and-coming star in women's professional wrestling. This is going to be an amazing, amazing match, right? You talk about two great competitors. And I think the one thing you mentioned, just Danny Moe brings such great positive intensity, positive energy to the ring. And I think, again, you're going to talk about, can she keep pace with a veteran like Taya Valkyrie? If there's anyone who could do it, it's going to be Danny Moe. And I think, again, don't underestimate the fact that she's got, her and Fasada's probably been helping her out a lot in terms of her film study, her preparation. What little nuggets has he been giving her to help her out in this big match? It's going to be very interesting to see how she may incorporate those. But bottom line is, the ultimate winner is going to be the fan in attendance, and that is why you have to buy a ticket, because this is going to be an all-time barn burner of a match.
You got that right, my friend. Tom Mitchell, who did Danny Moe anger in PPW management to get a challenge this tough this early in her run as PPW Women's Champion?
Well, I don't think it was so much that she angered somebody. I think it was more the case that's like, hey, this is our champion. We want to see our champion hang with the best, so we'll give her the best. And PPW delivered with that by bringing in Taya Valkyrie to challenge Danny Moe. I hope Danny Moe is ready, because Taya, is, as you mentioned, is coming back to the independent scene with a vengeance and wants some gold around her waist, and PPW might be the perfect place to start for her.
Yeah, for sure. You talk about a vengeance. Taya Valkyrie's coming back to the independents with a chip on her shoulder. Maybe more than a chip. Maybe a whole damn bag of potatoes. And Danny Moe's going to have to be on her A game. But you know what, though? Like I said, winning the championship has opened a new level of confidence in Danny Moe, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing, as is the PPW Nation. I don't necessarily know that the threat of somebody like Taya Valkyrie, as great as she is, as tough as she is, as incredible of a challenge as she's going to be for Danny Moe, I just don't think you stop the train of Danny Moe yet. I feel like Danny Moe's going to come out on top here, and I feel like Danny Moe's going to cement her status as the number one women's wrestler in PPW right now. That gold says it. That gold does it. And she keeps it this Saturday.
I totally agree, Sean. I think the one thing, in my coaching experience, one thing I've seen is when you have a team or a competitor that's winning, you have confidence in your winning, that's virtually unstoppable. And I think Danny Moe right now is at a level of confidence in herself and in her abilities that she is just really almost untouchable, and that's why I think she's able to come in. Because, again, a confident underdog on a streak like the one Danny Moe is on is very dangerous. And I think Taya Valkyrie needs to really watch out if she doesn't get kind of caught up in her own emotions about making a return to the independent scene. I think this is a great spot, a trap spot, if you will, for Taya Valkyrie, but a great spot, I think, for Denny Mo to get a massive victory.
Okay, so Coach and I are on the same page. Tom Mitchell, that leaves you. Are you in agreement, or are you going to be the detractor on this one?
You see, there's a word that gets thrown around a lot called momentum. And I'd say Danny Mo has momentum, arguably the most in all of PPW, and only rivaled by Brooke Keller, if anybody, as far as winning goes and just being on the roll of her career. I think that momentum keeps rolling, and she does pick up the victory. I can't believe all three of us are betting against Taya Valkyrie, but Danny Mo is just at the absolute top of her game right now, and I don't see anyone in PPW or across the world stopping her anytime soon.
I'm going to say this, boys. I hope Taya Valkyrie's not watching right now, because one thing I know for sure is she could beat the living hell out of all three of us at once. So if she hears that we're predicting against her early in her return to the Independence, and what I think is one of her first matches back, we're going to be in trouble. So we're going to have to scrub this from the internet as soon as this show's over to make sure we stay out of trouble, because we don't need that, right, boys?
Yeah, she's going to find us in a dark alley behind the Signature Training Academy and be like, I heard what you said. And next thing you know, it's just lights out.
Whoa. Listen, Taya. I'll tell you what. Right here, I have this signed Tom Mitchell PPW trading card. And also right next to it, I have this signed Big Sean Kramar's PPW trading card. And a coffee date with the coach. Please don't hurt us. Please don't hurt us. All right, let's get back to business. Tom Mitchell, what the hell else do we have going on this Saturday at Ring of Roses live at the Signature Trading Academy?
All right, let's get back to business, and let's talk about another phenomenal women's match that we have on the cards. We're talking about two girls who have been on AEW Dark multiple times, and one of the girls was just on Rampage last Friday. Layla Gray against Rebecca Scott. These are two beautiful women who do more than just have pretty looks and pretty faces. They hit hard, and they hit often.
Absolutely, and one thing that stands true, when we came back at the return, people have been clamoring for women's wrestling, and PPW management has made a commitment to trying to bring the best of women's wrestling to the PPW Nation. They've delivered. This contest is another prime example of just that. I mean, the competition within the women's division of PPW is heating up. Danny Mo, if she gets past Taya Valkyrie, may very well have to deal with the winner of this contest just based on the athletic ability of both of them. I could see these two impressing PPW management to the point where they get moved, basically shotgunned right up that ladder really quickly.
There's no doubt about it, Sean. I think if there's any true proving ground for great women's professional wrestling on the independent scene, certainly on the independent scene in the state of Pennsylvania, it's PPW. I mean, you're talking about it, women like Adina Steele, Christina Marie, just to name a few, Danny Mo, like we've talked about, who are all have established great careers for themselves within PPW. And I think, these are just a great example of two young women, two competitors who are looking to establish themselves in professional wrestling, and they've chosen PPW as that place to do it. And again, just another notch in the belt, another reason why you need to be buying a ticket, because this is the reason why. Also, another reason why you want to become a professional wrestler and you want to develop yourself as a professional wrestler. You should come to Mike Bennett training seminar, get yourself interacted with some of the great talent from PPW. But the bottom line is this: I think what you're going to see is two great young talents looking to elevate themselves to the next level, and that's why they've chosen PPW.
You could have said it any better, Coach. Tom Mitchell, say a fan wants to make the smartest decision of their entire life. Where should they head to make that smart decision, and what should they do?
Well, Rebecca Scott isn't so much a fan as already a very established wrestler, but Rebecca Scott decided that she wanted to get better. She wanted to become at the top of her very game, and she decided to start training at Battlefield Pro Wrestling right here in PPW with Alpha Jr., and I think that's going to give her the edge. I've seen some of the technical work, just the little things that they work on there, and it's mind-blowing just how much attention to detail they pay to every single part. Layla Gray doesn't have that training that Rebecca Scott has been going to for these past few months or so, and that could be the deciding factor. So if you want to learn the craft of professional wrestling, go check out Battlefield Pro Wrestling right here at PPW. Message our page for more information, and you will just see exactly what it takes to be a professional wrestler.
Absolutely. You learn from some of the best. You can't substitute good training for anything. in the world of professional wrestling. And yeah, I'll tell you what, BPW is the BPW Performance Center is one of the best places you can go for sure. But as a fan, the smartest decision you could make, and I'd like to remind you of that once again, is to head over to ppwwrestling.com/shop, go to the ticket section on that page, and make sure that you click buy now. Because from what Paul Bowe told me prior to coming on the air, slim pickings as far as availability with these tickets. So, attention to detail is imperative, and you need to head out now and make sure that you don't miss out. Because this great women's action isn't all we've got going on. There is a ton more. But Coach Juliana, before we move on to all that more stuff that we've got to talk about here, who you got? Scott or Gray? You're on the spot. You're on the clock.
I think I got Gray. I think he's going to get a big win in the opening matchup. But I think here's the thing. Not only when you come to a PPW show do you get amazing professional wrestling, but you get an opportunity to meet and interact with your favorite professional wrestlers. You want to meet Mike Bennett, he's going to be there. You want to meet Maria Canales, she's going to be there. You want to meet all the PPW superstars. You want to meet them. You want to buy T-shirts from them. You want to, whatever. You want to have a hot dog with them. They're there. You can meet them. It is a true experience coming to a PPW show. Please buy a ticket. It is well worth it. And again, I think you get to see Greg get a huge win here and really establish herself on the scene.
Okay, there you have it. So Tom Mitchell, your choice is Rebecca Scott, correct?
That is indeed.
This is weird because, we've been doing this for quite a few months now as a group. And most of the time I find myself in Tom Mitchell's camp when it comes to the predictions. But tonight we don't see eye to eye, and it makes me sad. Layla Gray's coming out on top here. And it's going to be a big win for her. And you may see her, like I said, creep up that ladder extremely fast and be somebody that Danny Moe's got to watch out for. It's going to be a great contest. It's going to be a marquee contest for sure. So make sure you're there Saturday to experience it live at the Signature Training Academy and bring the streamers because everyone else will have them too. Tom Mitchell, what else is on this card tonight? What else do our awesome fans have to look forward to this coming Saturday?
Well, this is one that is one of my personal favorites. The return of Allie Rex Professional Wrestling. 4 ACL tears, and she is back and better than ever. I am so excited for her, just as a person, more or less. But she will be teaming up with Bison and Mike Orlando to take on Alpha Jr., Heath Slater, and Nikki Duke. Now, we know Alpha and Slater were supposed to team up in January. The Rona was going around at the time, and Heath wasn't able to make it to that show. So they're getting a chance to team up here, and there's some bad blood brewing between Alpha and Orlando, so this should be an all-out war.
This is going to be madness, and I don't want to give away too much, but what happened between Alpha and Mike Orlando last month at Reborn, crazy moment. One of the marquee moments in PPW history. I have never seen anything like that involving Alpha. And fans, Alpha's okay, but that I'll tell you what went down at Reborn between him and Orlando really got in to the Samoan Storm's head. He has not been thrown like that, maybe ever in his career. He had to be woken up with smelling salts by Dr. Frank. You don't see stuff like that every day, and that is fresh in the Samoan Storm's brain. Right there, it pops up. He can't sleep at night sometimes just thinking about what went down. Alpha's coming for a fight. Mike Orlando's been on a roll. This new attitude we've seen from Mike Orlando's been questionable to say the least. But I'll tell you what, he needs to watch out because the Samoan Storm is going to be exactly that, a storm. And he's going to come in and he's going to be looking for revenge. Doesn't matter if you throw Bison his way. Doesn't matter what you throw his way. Alpha's looking to come and get revenge on Mike Orlando for what went down. Guys, how did you feel about that last month? Have you ever seen anybody manhandle Alpha in that sort of fashion?
No, I have not, and it's shocking, and it just goes to show you the supernatural strength and ability of Mike Orlando. The fact that you can really ragdoll not just a grown man, but somebody the size of Alpha. I mean, again, for you PPW fans who've been out there to a PPW show and seen Alpha in person, he is not what you would call a small person. So the fact that he's able to be ragdolled by Mike Orlando just goes to show you that Mike Orlando is a supernatural athletic freak. But I think the biggest story from this whole match is the Allie Rex course. 4 ACL tears, I think, is a great example of don't ever let anybody ever tell you you can't do anything. 4 times. I don't think I've ever heard, whether it's in professional wrestling or professional sports, or in both of them, somebody who's had 4 ACL tears been able to come back from them and perform at a high level the way Ally Rex has. So again, hats off to her. It's going to be great to see her in the ring.
Yeah. You have to admire the determination and the grit that it takes to come back from that sort of thing. That you're right, guys. That is the dominant storyline in the contest. But we haven't even talked about a guy making his PPW debut and a big-time fan favorite. Fans, you get to see Heath Slater this coming Saturday at Ring of Roses, and he fits right in the middle of this contest in a very interesting sort of fashion. Talk about backup. Alpha went out and got some great backup for this contest.
You hit the nail right on the head. Heath Slater, former WWE, current Impact superstar. It doesn't get much better than that. I know Heath and Alpha were developmental right around the same time in WWE. So, Alpha had to make the call real quick and ask, hey, man, what are you doing Saturday, March 12th? Oh, just got to help you team up and take down Mike Orlando, Bison, Ally Rex, and have Nikki Duke right by their side as well. So it should be a great contest. I'm excited for it. And speaking of Bison, we really haven't even talked about him yet. He has really burst on the scene here at PPW as well.
Yeah, Bison is an impressive athlete for sure. I mean, this guy is built like a champion. This guy's got the look that people yearn for in the world of professional wrestling. A brick house for sure. Extremely tall, towers above the competition. He's a heavy hitter for sure. We've seen Bison manhandle Bull Hightower so much that they became friends. I mean, I'll tell you what. Can you think of anybody that's done that to a guy like Bull Hightower? That just tells you all you need to know about the man they call Bison.
Absolutely right, Sean. There's no doubt about it. A very fluid athlete, very, very physical, does not make many mistakes. And again, that's what makes him, I think, so effective. He's very mistake-free. So, again, it's hard to beat somebody like that. Although, again, right, he's gone up against competitors that may be physically have an advantage or may experience us having an advantage. His mistake-free professional wrestling has been able to make him one of the rising competitors in PPW.
Tom Mitchell, where does Nikki Duke fit into all this?
Well, Nikki Duke, similar to Rebecca Scott, has been training with Alpha Jr. and Tommy Slade at the Signature Training Academy at Battlefield Pro Wrestling. And I've seen her a couple of times down there, and she is incredible. She's already had appearances on AEW Dark. She is really establishing herself, for lack of a better word. She has really established herself as someone who might not be in the independents too much longer. So you better get your ticket at PPW.com, PPWWrestling.com/shop, and see her before, she might not be here much longer. She might be having to pay for a pay-per-view to see her.
Yeah, so you're gonna pay to see Nikki Duke, but not only do you get to see Nikki Duke, that is, we promise that you'll get at least 1 or 2 Paul Bowl points during the show. So it's time, Tom Mitchell. Which one of these trios are going to come out victorious on Saturday night?
I feel a lot of this is just riding on how Alpha bounces back from last month, just to see how he mentally is feeling, physically is feeling, because like you said, he's never been ragdolled like that. But I feel like the star power between Alpha, Heath Slater, Nikki Duke, I think it's just too much for Orlando Bison and Ally Rex to handle.
That's a wise prediction, and this is the first time of the night that I'm going to go ahead and agree with you. We have it. But, Coach,
Finally.
What about you?
Excuse me. So, I think I would have to agree with both of you guys. I just think, again, when you get 2 guys that have the level of experience that both Alpha and Heath Slater have, it's very hard to beat no matter how big, strong, and tough you are.
Okay. My goodness. All right. We're moving on, folks. This is I can't say enough how important it is to be in attendance at these shows. If you're looking for a good, affordable night of family entertainment, I'll tell you what, this is a great place. When you're a younger kid and you enjoy the world of professional wrestling, there is no experience quite like you get from coming out to an independent wrestling event. At the meet and greet, you'll be able to walk up and say hello and tell your story pretty much to any of these athletes. Anybody that you look up to in PPW is available for you at these meet and greets. And the intimacy of the world of independent wrestling makes it such a selling point as far as great family entertainment, cost-effective family entertainment too. So the best bet, folks, is to head over to ppwwrestling.com/shop and get at it right away. Get those tickets and join all of us Saturday night at the Signature Training Academy.
Well, if we're going to talk about intimacy real quick, we're going to move on to our next match and talk about a guy who is the furthest thing from it. We're going to talk about Dark SCG in action once again.
No.
The scariest man I have ever come across in my life. Zio Zagan, his manager. I think when the fight footage comes back, there might be some things I don't want to talk about. Some things that just really freak me out. One of you guys talk. I'm freaking out just thinking about it.
Yo, I thought I said last month that I really didn't want to talk about this guy anymore, and I don't know why we brought him up. What is PPW management? Why is this guy here? Was there a threat? I mean, he freaks out everybody in the building. I mean, you can just tell by the nature of our conversation right here that things have just become really uncomfortable. Really uncomfortable. I don't even know what to say at this point, but you just gotta. Oh, my goodness, I'm just freaked. I can't. I'm at a loss for words. Tom Mitchell, pick it up here.
I think the only thing about this match is whether or not his opponent will need an ambulance at the end. And if I'm a betting man, I'm going to say yes, because that man is just so powerful, so freaky. He has all the physical tools, and yet he embraces the darkness. It freaks me out, man. He's going to be a megastar in PPW, and that's the thing that scares me the most. Is he's just so talented, but he's so demonic. There's just something just so wrong with him and Zio Zagan. I just can't get it out of my head.
Yeah, I don't really know what to expect here. I'm freaked out, and I think the PPW Nation is freaked out too. But you just got to be there. You just got to be there Saturday, because the only way for us to overcome this is to be together. You can't take all of us out, folks. You can't take all of us. I hate to be whoever winds up in the ring. Last month it was 2 people. This month is it going to be 3? This month is it going to be 4?
I have no idea, but no matter how many people you put in front of Dark SCG, I feel like he would just bowl him over no problem.
Yeah, for sure.
He's
but
done that to Casey
tired.
and everyone.
I'm tired of talking about Dark SCG, man. Let's move on.
That is more than fine with me.
Oh my goodness, Tom Mitchell.
Okay. Oh God, let me just.
What else do we have going on here? We lost the coach for a minute. It's just madness.
I will not be a part of any conversation about him. I'm not going to say his name.
I like that approach.
I love that approach, actually. I love it. But all right, we're gonna move on to what should be a certified banger of a match. We're gonna talk about a triple threat match between 3 of guys who are on the top of their game. The top guy, first of all, Griffin McCoy. See what I did there? Brian Johnson, Ring of Honor star The Mecca, and Impact star VSK. These are 3 great competitors. We got one representing PPW, one representing Impact, one representing Ring of Honor, and well, I'm just gonna enjoy this one as a fan. Once again, there's just so many ways this can go about. Coach, what do you have to say about this matchup?
Well, I think you're exactly right. I think, again, this is one of those matches that you as a fan, you just kind of sit down and sit back, relax, and enjoy, because, again, 3 great competitors, Brian Johnson, Griffin McCoy, 2 guys are, 2 of the 3 guys are going to be high-level competitors in this business. And of course, obviously the big news, Ring of Honor getting purchased by AEW, and you have Brian Johnson, a Ring of Honor competitor. How does he fit into that whole puzzle? Obviously also Brian Johnson, a guy that's looking to be a part of the Create Your Own Narrative wrestling project with Karrion Kross, a guy who's performed in PPW before. But I think, again, this is another example of what PPW is, which is really bringing the best talent in independent professional wrestling, bringing them to the Signature Training Academy, and putting them against each other, right? I mean, this is, you talk about the ultimate kind of playoff game, if you will. That's what PPW is, the best talent going against each other. And I think, again, when you see, you just see Griffin McCoy and in Brian Johnson, a true clash of styles. Griffin a bit bigger, but stockier, more of the kind of classical professional wrestler. Then you have the Mecca Brian Johnson, who is just one of those guys who you'd hate to see in a back alley, but you'd like to have him on your side in a back alley kind of guys. Just an absolute nut job. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the match plays out.
Yeah, for sure. Brian Johnson's come out recently and said it's Mecca versus everybody. And he's smart. He went out and he got Mr. Ruda to help him in that pursuit to defeat everybody in PPW. Not off to the best start. Thought he was champion last month. That wasn't to be. But this is a contest that Brian Johnson wants in the worst sort of way. He's got game competition in VSK and top guy Griffin McCoy. But I'll tell you what, Brian Johnson knows that he needs to pick up this victory if he wants to continue to grow within the ranks of PPW. The addition of Mr. Ruda hasn't paid off yet, but I think in a contest like this, where there's the amount of chaos that comes with a triple threat match and the amount of really unpredictability when it comes to what you can expect, that's where the addition of Mr. Ruda is going to pay dividends big time. Mr. Ruda is going to control things on the outside. Mr. Ruda is going to hop up when he needs to. As much as I dislike that sort of thing, for a man who wants to win, Brian Johnson made a good call there, and I think it's going to pay dividends for him this coming Saturday. Tom Mitchell, how do you feel about that?
Well, just to elaborate more on Brian Johnson, I think you're absolutely right. I believe that he feels that he should be in the spot Davey Richardson this month. He thinks that he got robbed out of the PPW Heavyweight Championship, and he's going to look to take out his frustrations on an Impact Wrestling start in VSK and the top guy, Griffin McCoy. I hope both these guys are ready for the intensity Brian Johnson's going to bring, because this is about to be off the rails. And they also got to be aware of the tactics Mr. Ruda is going to employ at ringside.
Yeah, for sure. But question, do you think Brian Johnson needs to get his blood pressure checked?
Every time I talk to that man, I see veins popping out of his head, his neck. He has veins where I didn't even know you had veins. I'm just like, dude.
I think he needs a lot more than his blood pressure checked.
I don't know that there's been, I don't know that there's ever been a gentleman in the world of professional wrestling, or at least in PPW, that's been as angry as one Brian Johnson. But he needs to kind of like control that anger in this contest, because top guy Griffin McCoy is a guy that's impressed very many in his time here in PPW, and VSK's accomplishments speak for themselves. So Brian Johnson, like we've said, is going to have to channel whatever he needs to channel, because this is a top-notch contest, and one that Johnson absolutely needs if he wants to be considered to be in contention maybe for another opportunity at Bro Keller.
There's absolutely no doubt about it. I mean, this is one he needs. I mean, you have to. I mean, what does Ric Flair say? To be the man, you've got to beat the man. And I think in this sense, Brian Johnson, if you want to see it at the table, as it were, you've got to show that you deserve to be there.
For sure. But with that being said, I think we got to roll on to the predictions, and I think it's time for Tom Mitchell. You're on deck. What do you got going on?
You see, we talk about Brian Johnson so much, but I really do feel like you guys are underestimating the ability of the top guy, Griffin McCoy. This is a guy who I've seen do brawling. He does technical. He high flies. He's 6'2", 235, 240. He's a big dude, and he's able to do all different sorts of styles. I think this might be the top guy's time to shock the world.
Wow. I love that prediction, man. I love that prediction. That's the one I was going to take. I should have went to myself first so I could seem like I was the one that was, taking chances. But great choice. And I'm with McCoy too. I mean, you've heard what I've said about McCoy on this preview show the past few months. I'm really high on Griffin McCoy. I think this kid has the potential to be one of the biggest stars of this generation. And this is a win that could put this kid on the map in PPW. And he's going to come in knowing that, he doesn't want to be young, dumb, and broke forever. He wants to be young, dumb, and rich. So you know how you get rich. You get rich by bringing home the winner's share of the purse. And Griffin McCoy is going to shock the world Saturday. And you got to be there, folks. I can't say it enough. This is another one of those contests that has the potential to be a sleeper for match of the night. And just watch for what Griffin McCoy brings to the table. We'll just leave it at that. Coach, what about you?
I think intensity and rage rule the day for Mr. Brian Johnson. He's able to get a huge win. I just think, again, the intensity, the rage, and that energy that is channeled through those two things, I just think it's going to be too much for both Griffin McCoy and VSK.
All right. Coach says it's Mecca time. questionable. But we'll have to see. And the only way to find out who's going to come out on top in these contests, like I said, to sound like a broken record, is go to ppwwrestling.com/shop right now. Click purchase on those tickets and join us Saturday. It's going to be awesome. Tom Mitchell, what else do we got left on the docket here?
What else we got left? Well, we got some people who know for certain will be in action. We got PPW television champion Fox Vineyard along with his Sins crew and that grimy old man Joe Davis all coming to town. I know Joe's gonna probably want to slap me in the face for that one.
Great.
We got Rembrandt and Cosmic will be in action as well. PPW No Limits champion Chris Slade, first title defense possibly. Who knows what he'll be doing at the event. You got Andy Header. You got Tarzan Duran. You got Valerie Verman and the debut of Samuel Thompson. So we got a lot going on still, and we already got a jam-packed card as it is.
Yeah, for sure. You know what? You brought up Rembrandt and Cosmic. That's a situation that needs a fire extinguisher. Rembrandt physically assaulted Paul Bowe last month. Rembrandt was carried out of the building. You saw that in the highlight package that we showed you at the start of the show. What's next for Rembrandt? There's a lot of frustrations. They boiled over like crazy last month. Rembrandt can't be trusted right now. Everybody's going to need to be on edge because Rembrandt is aggravated. Rembrandt wants his championship back. He doesn't feel like he had a fair shake at things, even though, we've talked about how the No Limits Championship has always been a scramble match type situation. So that's what you get into. But what's next for Rembrandt? What do you see him doing this Saturday? Is Paul Bowe safe? Is Commissioner Fast Freddy safe? He's got to. I've never seen Rembrandt this unhinged.
There's no doubt about it. And I think, again, anytime you have someone, anytime someone's power is threatened, they act irrational. I feel like what you're seeing with Rembrandt. He is threatened. He feels threatened. He knows he cannot defeat, can't keep this title defeat. He cannot keep the ruse and the facade that he is somehow this fighting champion up for much longer, and that's why he's acting so irrational.
Yeah, it's interesting to see where he stands and where he goes next, but people can't forget Rembrandt's a hell of a competitor, and if he does happen to get a rematch against Chris Slade, he could very easily take his championship right back. But the biggest thing here for Rembrandt, I think, and Tom Mitchell, correct me if you think I'm wrong, but the biggest thing here is for Rembrandt to keep his cool and remember that contracts can be terminated. This dude's on the verge of getting fired if he acts like this, quite frankly.
Yeah, I must agree with you there, Sean. Rembrandt, he was in shock. He felt invincible with the No Limits Championship, and rightfully so. He has defeated everyone for the past, 6-7 months, however long he held the championship for, everyone who PPW threw in front of him. And then when that time finally did come and Chris Slade was able to take it off of him, he just didn't know what to do. Like, he went through all the stages of loss and grief because that title was his baby. He felt he raised the No Limits division to another level, and you really can't argue with him because he's been having fantastic matches as champion, just pulling out incredible victories month after month, but just not last month. And that's the beauty of the No Limits Championship.
Yeah, for sure. I think personally that to me that's the most intriguing storyline of the night, to see what's next for Rembrandt and Cosmic. Folks, that's a selling point. Remember, Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis Bennett are going to be in the house. Taya Valkyrie is coming back to PPW. Heath Slater's going to be in the house. So much more, folks. The place to be this coming Saturday night is undoubtedly the Signature Trading Academy at 137 Aaron Lane in Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania. You want to get your tickets as soon as possible. There may be some left at the door, but we're not going to make any promises here because we don't want to let you guys down. The only way to make sure that you're allowed through those doors when the meet and greet kicks off at 4:30 p.m. is to go to ppwwrestling.com/shop right now, secure your tickets, and be there with us for what is going to be an awesome night on Saturday. And afterwards, remember on March 18th, be sure to order Reborn on Fight and relive that awesomeness too. So much stuff coming in the very near future from PPW. With that being said, I think it's time for the Cool in the Gang to get the hell out of here and to lead us into Saturday and get some rest. So, for Coach Juliana and Tom Mitchell, I'm Big Sean Kramars, PPW Nation. Take it easy, be well, and care for each other. We'll see you Saturday night at Ring of Roses. Have a good night, y'all.